Hey everybody, welcome to a moment of clarity. The final nail in the coffin of Russiagate has just come down. If nails can come down, they could be hammered down. It was just hammered down. The final nail was hammered into the coffin. And I know you're thinking, God, are we still fucking talking about Russiagate? But there's new information and it's kind of hilarious in how it proves how pathetic this whole thing has been for, close to 4 years now. Basically, we've finally seen the congressional testimony of the president of CrowdStrike, who were the ones who supposedly showed that Russia had been behind the DNC leaked emails. But thanks to great reporting by Aaron Mate at the Gray Zone, we can now see that testimony, and I highly recommend you check out Aaron's work on this. But let's back up a little. We know the collusion thing between the Trump campaign and Russia. We know all of that balloon was burst a while ago. The Mueller report was unable to show any collusion. And many people have said, well, okay, maybe there wasn't collusion. Maybe the Trump campaign was a fucking group of bumbling idiots and therefore they, didn't have any high connections with Russia, which we know they didn't. But people continue to say, well, we do know Russia hacked the DNC and revealed the emails for the world to see, and that is what hurt and killed Hillary Clinton's campaign. Yeah, she had nothing else going wrong with her campaign. It was just those emails. But no, besides all that, people are still running around saying, well, we do know for sure that Russia hacked them. Even though Julian Assange has said in the past that they're conflating multiple things. It's possible the DNC was hacked by Russia or other state actors, but they know, WikiLeaks and Julian Assange have stated that the DNC emails that were revealed did not come from a state actor. So let's get to this newly revealed congressional testimony. And there's a couple of things we have to go over in order to realize why this testimony is so fucking important. After the leak of the emails, of the DNC emails to the public, the DNC has stated that they refuse to give the computer servers to the FBI. The FBI never got to actually check out what the fuck happened. And Donna Brazile has said that actually the DNC destroyed the servers and gave the FBI a mock-up or a look-alike in order for them to look at. Now, why would the DNC destroy the servers? This is supposedly the scene of a crime, right? This is supposed to be a massive crime that has been revealed. I've said this before. This would be like if you came across a dead body, a murdered, beaten, dead body, and you were like, oh my God, this is a major crime. And you called the cops and you said, holy shit, this is a huge crime. There's a dead beaten body here, and oh my God. And then the cops arrived and they said, where's the body? And you said, well, after I called you, I chopped it up and threw it in the river. Fucking why? Why would the DNC destroy the servers? Unless they had something to hide. So instead of letting the FBI check out the servers, they hired this private firm called CrowdStrike. Now already that's a conflict of interest, right? CrowdStrike is getting a shitload, a fuckload of money from the DNC that they're then using to say what? To say perhaps exactly what the DNC wants them to say. That's a conflict of interest to begin with. Many people at the top of CrowdStrike have former DNC connections. And the president of CrowdStrike is a former higher up at the FBI. The mainstream media has gone off this CrowdStrike report of what happened to the DNC to run around and saying, Russia hacked the DNC, Russia, new Cold War, let's do all the neo-McCarthyite garbage all over again, woohoo! Because of CrowdStrike's report. That's what they're going off of. And now, only now, after several years, we actually get to see the congressional testimony of the president at the time of CrowdStrike, Sean Henry. So as reported by Aaron Mate, Sean Henry is asked by Congress, how do you know that the Russians exfiltrated the data from the DNC? That's what they call it, exfiltrating the data, taking it out of the DNC servers. And now we know, for the first time, Sean Henry's response was, We did not have concrete evidence that data was exfiltrated from the DNC, but we have indicators that it was exfiltrated. What? What do you mean you don't have evidence? How can you not have evidence? All of this was based upon your bullshit. This was, you wrote a report saying the Russians did it, and then the FBI and the intelligence community said, oh, it's the Russians. And now, here we are, head of CrowdStrike, saying, we don't actually have evidence that the Russians hacked the DNC and stole these emails and did it for Clinton, to sink Hillary Clinton and did it to help Donald Trump. We don't have evidence, per se. The president of CrowdStrike then continues, it appears the data was set up to be exfiltrated, but we just don't have the evidence that says it actually left. They don't have the evidence that it was ever actually taken out of the servers. And then later in his congressional testimony, just in case you didn't hear it, just in case Congress wasn't sure what they had heard, later he says again, there's not evidence that they were actually exfiltrated. So just to rehash this, you have the president of the only company, organization, anything that ever did an actual diagnostic, that ever actually investigated whether the Russians had hacked the DNC and revealed these emails through WikiLeaks. This is the only organization, the only company, and the president is saying, we don't have any evidence. We don't have any evidence that the Russians did this. And in fact, as was covered by Ray McGovern and veteran intelligence professionals for Sanity, it seems quite likely that this was a leak from inside the DNC, not a hack, which also would align with what Julian Assange had said years ago, that this was not a hack, it was a leak. Aaron Mate then goes on to point out that in Mueller's report, he uses little caveat words. He's a little squishy on whether Russia actually did this, even in the Mueller report. He says, quote, Russian intelligence appears to have hacked the DNC. But what's he going off of? He's going off of CrowdStrike, which has no evidence. And this matters not just because it's like a WMD all over again, but it also matters because while you may be thinking, we've moved on past Russiagate, much of America has not moved on past this neo-McCarthyism, past this Cold Warism, past this hatred of various countries around the world based on fucking nonsense and non-evidence. This is exactly like WMD. You remember it, for years, the mainstream media ran around and said, yes, Saddam Hussein has weapons of mass destruction. And it took years of various independent journalists, alternative journalists, coming forward, revealing there were no fucking WMD. They knew there were no WMD going into that goddamn country, and they killed 1 million people. And then eventually, the mainstream corporate hacks, these vacant tool bags, slowly came around and said, wow, that was a weird time in our lives, and yeah, we kind of screwed that up with the whole WMD thing. Is our face red or what? And we're doing it all over again, and yet they continue to repeat this nonsense about Russia hacked the DNC. And they continue to use it to malign anyone who's against war or against corporate America or against America's belligerent foreign policy. We're all maligned as, pro-Russia or pro-communist, even though Russia's not communist anymore. But again, since when has truth and evidence mattered for your mainstream corporate airwaves? That's been your moment of clarity. Please share this if you think this topic is important. Obviously, we're suppressed endlessly, so I need you guys to share this, give it a thumbs up, leave comments. Also, I've started doing live streams with Eleanor Goldfield once a week or once every couple weeks, and the way to find, and we answer your questions and everything, so we get to chat with you, which I really enjoy doing. So if you want to be a part of those, please join the email list, probably the best way to find out about them. You can text the word redacted to 33777 to join the email list. You can also join it at leecamp.com. And lastly, for more information on this topic, on this, horseshit Russiagate crap that has completely fallen apart, please check out my new book, Bullet Points and Punchlines. There's a lot in there about it. That's at leecampbook.com. Until next time, keep fighting.